Diana, looking at that, do you do all your own stunts? Did you do all your own stunts when you were doing the Avengers?
No, I didn't. I couldn't. Some of them were too extraordinary.
One television show had it all: wit, action, and style. The Avengers was an unstoppable force in the 1960s. Then, in a flash, it was gone. The reason? A scene so explosive, so far beyond what was considered acceptable, that it was deemed too dangerous for the public to see. It wasn't just an episode that got banned. The entire show was canceled to cover it up. This is the story of the forbidden footage that became a television legend and brought a global phenomenon to a grinding, permanent halt. Before the leather suits. In the early 1960s, British television was a hotbed of creativity. A new generation of writers and producers was eager to break free from old formulas. You see, the demand for something fresh and exciting was at an all-time high. It was in this environment that a show called The Avengers was born, a series that would completely change the spy genre and become a global sensation. The thing nobody tells you is that it started as something completely different. The idea came from a Canadian producer named Sidney Newman, a man known for taking risks. He wanted to create a crime drama that was less about gritty detectives and more about sophisticated, intelligent heroes. His vision was a spy thriller that blended suspense with a distinctly British elegance and wit. It was a bold move, and on January 7, 1961, The Avengers premiered. But the show audiences first saw would be almost unrecognizable to fans of its glory days. The original main character wasn't the iconic John Steed. It was Dr. David Keel, a man seeking revenge for the demise of his fiancée. The first season played out like a standard crime procedural. Keel, the grieving doctor, teamed up with a mysterious intelligence agent named John Steed, played by Patrick Macnee. At this point, Steed was just a supporting character, a guy in a trench coat lurking in the shadows. The entire show was built around Dr. Keel's quest for justice. What many overlooked was the instant chemistry between the two leads. Steed's charming, witty style was the perfect contrast to Keel's serious and determined nature. But behind the scenes, trouble was brewing. A contract dispute led to the main actor, Ian Hendry, leaving the show after just one season. To put it mildly, the producers were in a tough spot. They had lost their star, and the future of the show was in jeopardy. This crisis turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to the Avengers. With Dr. Keel gone, the creators decided to promote John Steed to the lead role. But they didn't just give him more lines. They completely reinvented him. The trench coat was swapped for impeccably tailored suits, a bowler hat, and a signature umbrella that was far more than just a rain stopper. Steed transformed from a shadowy government agent into a charming, eccentric, and unflappable English gentleman. This change was a game changer, allowing the show to move away from its dark, gritty roots and embrace a more playful, adventurous, and even surreal tone. To fill the void left by Dr. Keel, Steed needed a partner, but not just any partner. The show introduced Kathy Gale, played by Honor Blackman. Gale was a revolution in herself. She was an anthropologist with a PhD and a black belt in judo. She was intelligent, independent, and could take down a man twice her size without breaking a sweat. For the first time on British television, audiences saw a woman who was a true equal to the male hero.
And they said, "Whoa, you could find somebody else." So I said, "Who?" I said, "Shall we have a woman?" A woman?
She wasn't a sidekick or a damsel in distress. She was a force to be reckoned with, often clad in her iconic black leather catsuits, which became a cultural phenomenon known as kinky boots. This dynamic duo set the stage for the show's golden era. The new formula was a smash hit, turning the Avengers into a cultural icon. But this was only the beginning of its evolution. The show was about to introduce a new partner who would launch it into superstardom. The woman who stole the show. When Honor Blackman left the Avengers to become a Bond girl in Goldfinger, the show faced another huge challenge. How could they possibly replace the irreplaceable Kathy Gale? The answer came in the form of a character who would become one of the most iconic women in television history, Mrs. Emma Peele, played by the brilliant Diana Rigg. To say she was a hit would be a massive understatement. The arrival of Mrs. Peele in 1965 marked the absolute peak of the Avengers. Emma Peele was designed to be the ultimate modern woman. Her very name was a clever inside joke from the producers. They wanted a character with man appeal, or M appeal. She was a genius, a martial arts expert, a scientist, and a fashion icon all rolled into one. She was sophisticated, witty, and radiated a cool confidence that was simply captivating. What many overlooked is that she wasn't just an action hero. She was a brilliant mind, often solving the mysteries before Steed did. The chemistry between Patrick Macnee's Steed and Diana Rigg's Peele was pure television magic. Their relationship was a masterclass in witty banter and unspoken romance. They flirted, they teased, and they fought side by side as perfect equals. There was an electricity between them that audiences had never seen before. The show wasn't just about spies and villains anymore. It was about the dazzling partnership between these two incredible characters. This was the era when the Avengers truly found its soul. With Emma Peele at the helm, the series leaned heavily into the surreal and the bizarre. The plots became wilder, more imaginative, and almost like a live-action comic book. One week, Steed and Peele would be fighting cyborg assassins, and the next, they would be investigating a town where all the residents had been replaced by duplicates. The show was filled with high-tech gadgets, secret underground lairs, and villains so eccentric they were unforgettable. It was a perfect blend of James Bond and The Twilight Zone, all wrapped up in a stylish, uniquely British package. The show's production values soared. In 1967, it made the leap to full color, making the vibrant mod fashion and stunning set designs pop off the screen. Emma Peele's wardrobe, a collection of cutting-edge catsuits and stylish outfits, became a global fashion trend. The series looked like nothing else on television. It was beautifully shot, cleverly written, and felt more like a weekly feature film than a simple TV show. This cinematic quality helped it conquer America, making it a massive hit on the ABC network and turning Diana Rigg and Patrick Macnee into international stars. For a few glorious years, The Avengers was the coolest show on the planet. It was a perfect storm of brilliant writing, charismatic stars, and groundbreaking style. The Steed and Peele era is remembered as the show's golden age, a time when it could do no wrong. But not all things are what they seem. Behind the effortless charm on screen, tensions were rising, and trouble was brewing, when paradise got lost. While The Avengers was charming the world with its style and wit, the mood behind the scenes was becoming anything but charming. The pressure to maintain such a high standard week after week was immense, and cracks were beginning to show. The thing is, the effortless cool you saw on screen was the result of grueling work, creative clashes, and some serious off-screen drama. At the center of the storm was Diana Rigg. She was the show's biggest star, but she was also one of its biggest fighters. When she joined the series, she quickly realized she was being paid less than the cameraman. To put it mildly, she was furious. In a move that was practically unheard of for a female actor at the time, she demanded equal pay to her co-star Patrick Macnee. The dispute became a public battle, and while she eventually won a significant raise, the fight left a sour taste. It was a sign that she wouldn't be content to just be a pretty face. Rigg also fought for her character. She pushed back against writers and producers who initially wanted to treat Emma Peele as just another glamorous sidekick. She insisted that Peele be portrayed as Steed's intellectual and physical equal. Her determination paid off, and Emma Peele became a feminist icon, but the constant battles took their toll. After just 2 seasons, the biggest female star on the planet decided she had had enough. Her departure in 1968 was a devastating blow from which the show would never truly recover. Patrick Macnee, the heart of the show, also faced his own struggles. He was the constant professional, but the revolving door of co-stars was challenging. Rumor has it that his relationship with Honor Blackman was sometimes frosty. And while he and Diana Rigg had that incredible on-screen chemistry, their off-screen relationship was more of a power struggle. Macnee was the established lead, but Rigg's explosive popularity sometimes overshadowed him. With Diana Rigg gone, the producers scrambled to find a replacement. They chose a young, relatively inexperienced actress named Linda Thorson to play the new partner, Tara King. The network wanted someone younger, and in their view, more traditionally feminine than the fiercely independent Emma Peele. But you see, they misjudged what the audience loved. Thorson was put in an impossible position, trying to fill the shoes of a television legend. The dynamic just wasn't the same. The spark, the wit, and the electric tension that defined the Steed and Peele era were gone. The scripts started to feel tired and inconsistent. Some episodes tried to recapture the old surreal magic, while others felt like generic spy stories. The ratings, especially in the all-important American market, began to plummet. The show that had once been the toast of the town was now struggling to stay relevant. The magic was fading, fast. The network was getting nervous, and the creative team was running out of ideas. The once unshakable series was now on shaky ground. It was during this period of decline that the show would make its most fatal mistake. The moment TV went dark. As the Avengers struggled in its final season, the pressure to create buzz and recapture audience attention was immense. Desperate to make an impact, the writers and producers allegedly crafted an episode that went too far, a story so dark and a scene so shocking that it triggered a firestorm of controversy. Though the exact details are shrouded in secrecy, what is known is that this moment was deemed so inappropriate that it wasn't just edited. The entire episode was pulled, and the scandal helped hammer the final nail into the show's coffin. The episode in question, which has since become the stuff of television legend, reportedly featured a plot that was far grimmer than the show's usual surreal adventures. Accounts from the time are fragmented, as the episode was quickly buried by the network, but whispers suggest the storyline involved a level of psychological cruelty that was completely out of step with the show's character. The Avengers had always had its share of stylized violence, but it was playful and almost cartoonish. This was different. The controversial scene, according to those who claim to have seen it, involved an act of intense mental torment. It wasn't about a clever gadget or a witty fistfight. It was raw, unsettling, and disturbingly realistic. Some rumors claim it depicted a main character, possibly Tara King, being subjected to a harrowing psychological breakdown. Others suggest it crossed a line with its political or social commentary, touching on a subject that was taboo for 1960s television. Whatever the content, it was seen as a betrayal of the show's spirit. The charm and sophistication were gone, replaced by something ugly and mean-spirited. The reaction from the network executives was immediate and severe. Independent television in the UK and ABC in the US, already concerned about the show's falling ratings, panicked. In an era where television censorship was strict, this scene was a red flag they couldn't ignore. Advertisers threatened to pull their support, and there was fear of a massive public backlash. They saw the episode not as a bold creative choice, but as a reckless liability. The decision was made swiftly. The episode would never see the light of day. It was pulled from the broadcast schedule so quickly that it barely left a paper trail. While a few regional stations might have aired it by mistake before the official ban took effect, it was effectively erased from history. All official copies were reportedly destroyed or locked away in a vault, never to be seen again. This act of censorship only fueled the mystery, turning the lost episode into a holy grail for fans. To put it mildly, the scandal was the final nail in the coffin for a show already on life support. You see, what many overlooked was that the series had been struggling ever since Diana Rigg's departure. Critics who felt the creative magic had vanished pointed to the incident as definitive proof that the Avengers was resorting to cheap, hollow shocks just to stay relevant. The network, already nervous about slipping ratings, completely lost confidence. The creative well had run dry, and the once effortless blend of wit, style, and espionage had been replaced by a sense of exhaustion and desperation. The show that had once been a beacon of television innovation, a global symbol of British cool, was now permanently tainted. Its legacy became associated not with its groundbreaking female leads or clever scripts, but with controversy and a sad, undignified decline. The legend of the Avengers proves that style is timeless. But was its end a simple business decision, or is there a lost episode out there waiting to be discovered? What do you believe? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden stories.